Marky, how are we doing, buddy? I hope you're very, very well, buddy. Will Mark will Mark dump from here? I don't know, Mark. Are you going to dump? I know what you mean, buddy. Is the market going to dump from here? Honestly, no one knows. I mean, I'm looking at the 15-minute chart. We got back above this long-term trend line, and we are consolidating at 27 and a half, which is encouraging. I had the next layer of resistance at kind of like 28 and a half, 28.6, 27, somewhere up around there. I mean, the 15-minute chart is pretty more is a lot more accurate. I plotted this on the weekly. The Kanzi, welcome, buddy. How we doing? It's all right. All right, Mohammed Adnan. Honestly, it's not. I was just taking the piss. Honestly, it's fine. I know what you meant. All good. Where's my day drinking session as Mrs. is away? Thank you for the hat, Phil. Welcome, brother. How we doing? Great to see you, buddy. Where's my drinking? I did not have a drinking session last night. I had a very, very hard day at work, came home and chilled. It was a great evening. We had a really good session on TikTok. It was nice. It was really, really cool. I feel we are pulling back soon. I think there's a possibility for sure. We've had a really strong run up on Bitcoin. I'm expecting a pullback. I'm looking at 20. I think we could get to 28 and a half before the pullback, though. Just looking, let's go out to the 4 hourly. The 4 hourly shows you just how far we've come. You know, we were here. So let's chart that out. Let's box it up. So date and price range. There we go. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum. So we came up. So we're up. We came up 41% in a week. I mean that's pretty. 41% in a week we came up. That's substantial. I think we probably will pull back soon. I mean that's a big one not to have a pullback. But but to be honest with you, the stochastic RSI. Look at this. This pullback here from 26 down to 24.7. That reset the RSI. If we keep doing that, we are building to higher highs. So it's going to be really, really interesting. I don't know what's going to happen. The money is still flowing into the banks in the US. There's 2 trillion set to flow into banks. I think they've had like only less than a quarter of that so far. So I think there's still more money to go into the markets. China is still ramping up its adoption of crypto in Hong Kong. That kicks in fairly soon as well. So they'll be able to freely trade crypto more out of Hong Kong. I think that's April that comes in. So it's looking like it could be really, really good. So drunk he doesn't even know. I was not drunk. I was in a good space. And to be fair, if you'd have heard me this morning on a call I had, I'm hopefully gonna be a lot happier in the next few weeks. There's some stuff some people I'm talking to about some stuff, and I think it's going to be great. So yes, I'm working on something in the pipeline, and I will let the Discord know before anyone else what the hell I'm talking about. But I can't go into too much detail at the moment because we're still really working on exactly what it is. But yeah, once the final details are confirmed, we'll start leaking the information. But yeah, I had a really, really positive phone call this morning. So you think I was happy last night? That ain't going to be nothing. Yeah, it was a very, very good call this morning. Not like these promises of partnerships that come and go either. Those ones come and go, and this is proper hard graft, but it's going to be well worth it. Quorum token, you buying for the airdrop? No, I bought a little bit more Quorum a while ago. I'm not touching Quorum again now. I've been receiving Quorum for the Sologenic airdrops anyway, so I'm happy with what I've got, and what will be will be. And to be fair, I am so into the Moonbeam and Arbitrum ecosystems. I'm almost tempted to step out of the XRPL arena, to be fair. I think it's exciting. I've got my XRP in a bag, but I think my passion at the moment, my knowledge is in Moonbeam and the Arbitrum ecosystem. So I think I need to focus. I'm so generic in the markets. I'm so widespread. I feel like I'm getting left behind a little bit in certain areas. So I need to focus on what I like most. And what I like most is Moonbeam and Arbitrum, especially Arbitrum right now. Arbitrum is very, very exciting. Tom Matthews, how are we doing, buddy? Good to see you. Am I giving up the day job? I wish, Mark. I wish. Who knows? Who knows? In a few months, something might happen that could enable that. But I think if that kind of if things change to that degree, I would want the wife to cut work down first. Her job's much more stressful than mine. So yeah, I would probably look after the wife before I stop working. Will Moonbeam hit all-time high in the next bull run? I've got to be honest with you, I love Moonbeam, but no, it's not going to hit all-time high. Not if you're actually looking at the all-time high charts, as in launch. It won't get back there. So let's have a look and see what it means. If we go to the weekly chart on Moonbeam, Glimmer. Did I just change that or not? No, I didn't. There we go. Okay. You can see here, Moonbeam had a massive launch because it launched at the end of the bull run, basically. It launched, I don't know, end of December, something like that. There we go. Okay, so the first week was 10th of January. So you can see here, the launch price was dirty, $39. Don't get me wrong, I think long term it could achieve that. And I'll go through my pricing and sort of advise why shortly. But my initial target on Glimmer is $4.50. And I think that's just to recover my investment and take a nice big chunk of profit because I hold a lot of Moonbeam. So realistically, let's look at the market caps of Moonbeam. Currently, the market cap of Moonbeam is about 250 million, 263 million. Fully diluted, it's 460. So let's work on the current tokenomics. If we've still got these tokenomics in the bull run, I personally think Moonbeam can do $10 billion market cap easy. It's a layer 1 smart contract linking Ethereum to Polkadot. It is going to be huge in my personal opinion. Not financial advice, but this is why I'm setting my targets where I am. So to get to $4.50, we need to 10x, which means the market cap only needs to be $2.5 billion. $2.5 billion should be an absolute walk in the park for Moonbeam, and that will make me a lot of money. But I will hold 75% of my bag for higher prices because I personally believe it's at least a $10 billion project. And if you look at layer ones in the last bull run, they were doing 30, 40, 50, $60 billion market caps. So I think realistically, Moonbeam could be a $10 billion market cap quite easily. But I will start cashing out at $2.5 billion. If we change tokenomics and we're looking at a fully diluted situation, a fully diluted market cap is still only a 10x away. So you're looking at $4.5 billion market cap to 10x. So I still think it's possible. Do I think ARB will push Matic out? I've been saying this for several weeks now. I've been digging around in Arbitrum, and I honestly believe it's a true competitor to Matic. I love Arbitrum. I cannot express enough how, if you like DeFi, if you like perpetual trading and protocols and DEXs, Arbitrum is where you want to be. Arbitrum is massive. It's a beast. And yes, I believe it could really, truly rival Matic. It doesn't have the partnerships that Matic's got. Obviously, it's got several years head start on it, Matic, and Matic is not a bad project. It's a great layer 2, but technology evolves, and what is top now won't be top in 2 years. And yes, I think Arbitrum could challenge Matic. I'm a smooth talker, happy wife, happy life. Mine's always miserable. To be fair, mate, mine's miserable because I make her miserable. If I can make her happy, then my life gets easier. So, she's not always happy. Let's face it, she isn't. But if I could make her live in a better place where she can be happy, then that's where I want her to be. What's my best low cap, my holding, if any? I've got lots of low caps at the moment I like. I'm really, really delving deep into the Arbitrum system right now. So I've got several that I'm holding that are like sub $5 million market caps. I sold some of the Grail tokens. That's Camelot Exchange. I sold some of that. I took my initial investment out. I'm just riding profits. I like Zigzag in ZK Sync. I like Chromatica on Arbitrum. I like Zyberswap on Arbitrum. I like Vela Exchange. I've bought a couple of very small projects. A very small amount I put into Odin, and I put into LOD or Load, LODE. So there's some of the ones and I really am very, very bullish on Arbitrum. So anything that's small cap, I think it could really, really blow up quite nicely. So yeah, I'm quite excited about Arbitrum. Matic has some good partnerships, and this is it. Matic has these years. It's got a massive head start, make no doubt about it. So Matic for me is not going to go anywhere soon. It's massive. It's a great project, fantastic partnerships, and Arbitrum's got all that work to do. If it doesn't do it, it won't be top. But if it does, I believe it can push Matic out. I believe it can become number one. If you look at the total value locked as well on Uniswap, okay, look at that. Look at the amount of ETH on Uniswap that's locked. 55% of that is currently in Arbitrum. 55% of all the Ethereum locked via Uniswap is on Arbitrum. That's a huge figure. Beats Matic, beats Phantom, beats them all. How do you buy Arbitrum? Arbitrum does not currently have a token. So at the moment, I'm investing in projects within the Arbitrum ecosystem. However, there are airdropping tokens to people that qualify next week. So the snapshot was done in February. Don't know exactly when, but it was done back in February. So that's why, unfortunately, some people that done it in Discord, in my Discord, haven't qualified because they've done it too late. However, yes, you can't buy Arbitrum right now, but you will be able to buy it, and the token drops next week. Grail went up another $500. Maybe I'll pull out too soon, but figured hype maybe. Yeah, I mean, Grail's now at $4,000. I bought more at $1,700 because it did come down from $2.5K down to $1,700. It's now back up to $4K. I took profits, I think, around about 3.7 this morning. So I pulled my initial investment out of Grail, left my profit in. And if it dips again, I'll buy back in because I think that is a DEX that's going to be really, really good. And the supply setup of Camelot is very, very good as well. Genius S, welcome. How are you doing, buddy? Hi, Aaron. Could you please list those small caps on Discord? I can then check them out. I will, but I would advise some of them are complete degenerate plays. I haven't even researched a couple of those. I literally just... anything Arbitrum right now, I'm jumping on. I've got some bigger caps that I'm holding longer term. Like I said, like GMX, MUX, Grail, and a few others as well. But some of these are ones that I've researched today. I did drop details about AlienFi in the Discord. That's one that I decided to buy this morning. So the link to their website, etc., is in the Discord. I like it for several reasons. They're all listed. It's in the Low Cap Gem channel. But yeah, I will share it all. That's not a problem. But just bear in mind, as I say, I'll put a note next to the ones I haven't really researched. I've just jumped into, and I haven't put a lot into it. I put a little amount that I can afford to lose in there. Really just playing with my profit from Grail this morning. Matic was kind of the first, so sometimes that was enough to be remembered. Absolutely, first to market is very, very important, and I think that's why going for things early on in a new ecosystem like Arbitrum is very, very important because you'll have some gems in there that are first to market and really strong. I wish I'd gotten into Arbitrum 6 months ago because it would have been just crazy how much money there was to be made right now. 2 Grail for 3,100, sold for 6,300, so shouldn't complain, but always the way. 8K now. Well, you can't complain at a 2x. You've made 3K on that. At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure there'll be a pullback at some point. So it's just a matter of, we've made money. We can't grumble when we make money. That's what we're here to do at the end of the day. We are here to take profits, and that's one of the hardest lessons that I learned in crypto. I wasn't making money, and I realized I wasn't taking profit. So you've got choices when you invest. You either pull your initial out and ride the profit, or you keep taking your profit when it's there. 3 weeks. Yeah, no, it's crazy, isn't it? Grail dipped down to like less than $1,700 from $2,500. And it's gone all the way back up to 4K on this run. It is insane. I think Grail and Camelot and Grail token is strong for a reason, though. The tokenomics are very, very good. And it is kind of being adopted as the DEX at the moment of Arbitrum. But there's a lot of other great solutions out there on Arbitrum that I really like. What's my thoughts on Moonbeam and Moonwell? I love Moonbeam, and Moonwell is a great project as well. It's a really good shout, actually. Let's have a look at Moonwell, because Moonwell is one that I bought and sold quite quickly. but it is really gaining a good foothold on the market. So if we go to Moonwell, it's currently 1.1 cents, market cap of 3.6 million, so incredibly small, but the supply is not great. You know, we're looking at this fully diluted market cap, 57 million. So we are looking at kind of like, you know, I don't know what, 6-7% circulating supply, and that's not good. We've got a massive sell-off today, actually, on Moonwell, so that's not great either. But just looking at Moonwell, you know, it launched back in June 2022, so in the midst of the bull run, it crashed down. Moonbeam wasn't really that well established at the time, so I'm not surprised it's pulled back. But you can see here, Moonwell's goal is to be the most popular, friendly, fast, and secure DeFi protocol in the ecosystem. So this is obviously specific to Moonbeam. And I think once Moonbeam takes off, because it hasn't taken off yet, Moonbeam's pretty static. We've got investors going into it, and it's being heavily developed, but it's not getting a lot of products out yet. So I think Moonwell, for me, is one that I like. But right now, it looks like there is a pretty serious sell-off happening right now. And I say serious, I know you look at the price, it's not horrendous, but it's kind of like 15% of the price. So at one point they were up to 1.24 cents, and they're now at 1.06 cents. So they've lost 0.018. So yeah, pretty big sell-off on Moonwell at the moment. But this token's always been volatile. I do think it serves a purpose in the Moonbeam ecosystem though, and I am bullish on Moonbeam. Am I still buying much during this run or waiting for a drop? I am not buying my large caps at the moment. That's one thing I'm not doing. What I've done is I've taken a little bit of profit on some of my larger caps in Arbitrum, and I'm recycling them into smaller caps that I think could do well for the next week or two. I think what I want to do as well is I want to make sure I'm out of the higher risk plays in Arbitrum before the airdrop. I think the Arbitrum ecosystem right now is pumping because of the airdrop. Once the excitement is done and worn off, I think the whole kind of system takes a deep breath and resets, and then we'll see what happens. Airdrop hype helped. Absolutely. The hype is definitely pumping the ecosystem. The kind of people have looked at it and thought, well, you know, what we're going to do, it's got no token of its own. It's good, but you could got to invest in the projects, and that's more risky. But you're now going to have a governance token for Arbitrum, and I think that's going to do it really, really well. I do like a good governance token. Moonbeam's the same, Polkadot's the same, Moonriver's the same, ICP. You get the idea. Time to either sell or wait would be my advice. Step N up 25% today. Let's have a look at Step N. These move to earn ones aren't really things that I'm hugely into. If they catch a trend, they do well. But again, look at this. I mean, this was bang on trend. Is move to earn, play to earn, all that bollocks. We had market cap 283 million, but it's only 10% in circulating supply. So if you're considering jumping onto this hype train of 25% chasing a green candle, which I would never do, I don't chase green candles. It's just something I don't do. But if you're thinking about doing it, I would get into that system and I would check the token vesting schedule. Because if they drop another 10% of the supply, your investment's immediately halved. So I'd be very, very careful of anything with a circulating supply like that, especially on such a hype project that was moved to earn. That is not, it's overvalued in my opinion. I don't think it's worth that at all. And we did see it do some crazy prices in the bull run, but in the bull run, I could have tokenized a jar of urine and it would have gone insanely valuable. It would have been ridiculous. Crypto, you can throw money at anything in the bull run, but move to earn was a thing. This was definitely top of the pile. If it survives, it will remain top of the pile. It's got some good partnerships, to be fair, but the tokenomics worry me, and the fact that it's a trend token worry me. Did I get back into TAP or did I give it a miss? I actually do not hold any TAP or Daffy anymore. If TAP comes down below 0.7 cents, I'll buy. But I'm not buying whilst it's over that. But I was quite fortunate. I managed it. Again, I managed it well. I managed it properly. I bought into TAP knowing it had already done a 60-70x. I tripled my money, took my profit, and left my initial in. Same again with Daffy. Similar again. Pulled my initial plus a little bit of profit. So I was never going to lose with those two, and I just sold out and thought, screw it, I'll use that money in Arbitrum. What about the ETH upgrade? Did I look at it at all? No, I haven't had a chance to look into the technicalities of the ETH upgrade, I'm afraid. Can I take a look at EUL? Let's have a look at EUL. Alexa, play Naughty's Rock. So EULA is up 80%, $3.23, market cap 32 million, fully diluted 87. Price action has not been that great this last week, looking at it. Pretty much a big sell-off there. $6 down to, so someone's basically like really crashed the market. That looks like a big sell-off to me from maybe like one or two big bag holders. That's such a straight line down for a week. That is a big sell-off. So tokenomics again, definitely something to consider. It is recovering, so that's decent. Capital efficient permissionless lending protocol that helps users earn interest on their crypto assets, hedge against volatile markets. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be a decent thing. I mean, I really need to get into the white paper and do a deep dive on something like that. I can't make a snap decision because finance, dexes, government, not government, finances, dexes, perpetuals, and things like that. They're what I'm really focusing on right now. So I think that could be one of the biggest futures that we see in retail is DeFi. DeFi and finances on blockchain just makes perfect sense. It's going to transfer well to the real world. It will just be regulated to some degree. Move to earn tokens would be better partnering with health insurance providers, maybe. I think that is a thing. I think there are some projects like that have partnered with, if you get so many steps in, your NFT reports it to your health insurance provider, and the smart contract automatically adjusts your premiums and things like that. I'm sure that's already a thing that I've seen somewhere. I'm sure that someone did do that. But you're right. Am I watching any Launchpad projects? Funnily enough, actually, there is a Launchpad project on Arbitrum, funnily enough. I was looking at it on the most recently listed stuff. So every now and again, I do dive into here, and I just have a look to see what's been newly listed on CMC. It doesn't mean it's a new project. It just means it's newly listed on CMC. And I did see Arbitrum Pad. Now, Arbitrum Pad is interesting because in the last week they are up 60%, but isn't everything in Arbitrum? But it's quite an interesting one. It's only a $2.5 million market cap, and it is fully diluted already. It's already fully diluted. So that's pretty insane. CMC chart starts on the 16th, which was Thursday. So it's been out a couple of days, and it's 2.5x. But it's a launch pad specifically for Arbitrum. I've started researching this one. I haven't bought any yet, but. And this is a big but. I might. So yeah. I mean, the website's a little bit kind of bubbly and friendly, but it's a launch pad. It doesn't need to be anything rocket science. They have got tiers, just like every other launch pad. Their guaranteed allocations start at 500,000 tokens. 500,000 tokens at the current price. Isn't actually too bad. Where's my calculator? So 0.002469 times 500,000. So, I mean, for $1,250 right now, you could get yourself guaranteed allocation on some of their project launches, which for a launch pad is reasonable. $1,000 is on the cheap end of launch pads. I did a massive rec with regards to things like GameStarter, ThorStarter, DAOmaker, PolkaStarter, and generally $1,000 was about as cheap as you could get into a Launchpad guaranteed allocation tier. So that's around about the right area. And of course, considering the run up, we could have a pullback, so it could be cheaper to get into. But if we actually have a look at their website, I mean, do they actually have any? I don't know. Without getting into the app, I don't know. I don't want to don't really want to log into things whilst I'm live. That's not a good idea. But yeah, I mean, it's one I'm looking at, and I'll certainly research it. But that's the only real launchpad I'm looking to get into at the moment. I've already got some Polkastarter, although I'm tempted to walk away from launchpads. If I've got to be honest with you, I might not go down that route. It was a big plan of mine at the end of last year to go through and get onto as many launchpads and get into pre-sales as much as I can. But I'm kind of veering towards just getting in early. Do my research and getting in early. Wales getting stuffed again. The Scotland Italy game was brilliant, but again the Italians just couldn't finish. So yeah, I feel sorry for the Italians. They just couldn't finish the game, and they had the opportunity right at the end, and Scotland ran the whole length of the pitch and made the scoreline very, very favourable. What does it do? What is it looking to do? So it's literally just a launch pad. So Arbitrum pad is literally just a launch pad. It's got lots of things to it. But you can see here on the roadmap, they've got several phases. So they got lots of phases to it, and obviously then the launches will start. But much like any other new launch pad right now, it's difficult to actually have launches because there aren't many about. What I would say is if you want to get into a launch at the moment, I did see one earlier on. As I bought into a project today called AlienFi. They do have an IAO, which is an initial alien offering or something, I think they call it. So basically it's an initial token offering. But at the end of the day, they do have a project coming up in the next day and a half on that site. So if you go onto their IAO, they've got a project on there at the moment that's going to be launching in 1 day, 4 hours. So I haven't researched this one yet, but I probably will. Again, just to drop some information in. Area 51 is a top secret ecosystem. And this is what I mean about AlienFi. And this is what I liked about it. It's very clean. The UI is really good on this site. So literally just trade, swap, liquidity. Easy peasy. Earn, farm pools. You can tell I'm already logged into this one. And I don't really want to show you what I've got, so I've got to be really careful. But yes, I hold Alien. I am staking it. I've staked it Flexi, and I've staked it 10 weeks fixed. Because Flexi gives me 65%, but 10 weeks fixed gives me 300% APR. That's obviously going to move around, and we don't know what's going to happen price-wise. But my thoughts are hopefully the price appreciation is decent on Alien. It has actually come down a little bit today. When I bought it, it was 89.90 cents. It went up to 97 cents, and it is retracing. But we're seeing the market generally pull back this last hour or so. We're starting to see a little bit of red. So if we go back onto the Bitcoin chart, yeah, we are. We're having a pullback, but this isn't a bad thing. We've been consolidating in this range for a few hours. We are just going sideways. So if we came back down to here, this would reset the stochastic RSI quite nicely, and we could just go up again. We'd stay in this channel for a while, possibly. Now, if I go out to the hourly, similar story, and this is quite good to see actually. So we are above the EMA, and this is why I like Bollinger Bands. I'm very kind of visual. Bollinger Bands are very visual as well. So you've got the EMA that moves in between the channels, and if the channel squeezes, there could be a move. So what's happened is we're above the EMA, and there's a bit of a squeeze on, and we start moving down. The stochastic RSI is very low, so I would expect us to maybe come down, not maybe all the way down through this channel on the hourly, but you can see we've reset the stochastic RSI with this small movement downwards, this low volume move downwards. It's reset the stochastic RSI on the hourly, so that's pretty good. Which means that actually we could stay either consolidating within this range, or we could move upwards after this little reset. I still think we need to test 28.5. I think if we don't manage to get the volume to push up to 28.5, I'd be very surprised. Let's have a look. When you're using the ARB network, does it get you into any projects early? Certainly Arbitrum is a very new ecosystem, and it's got a lot of projects building on it. As I said, the TVL locked on Arbitrum. So the Ethereum values locked through Uniswap. 55% of that was on the Arbitrum network. So Arbitrum is stronger than Matic. It's stronger than Phantom, stronger than AVAX. It's already like one of the go-to places for DeFi and TVL locking. So Yeah, Arbitrum's going to be, in my personal opinion, very, very big indeed. And yes, there are a lot of small cap gems in Arbitrum for sure. And again, an easy way, if you wanted to find out how to do it, just go onto CoinMarketCap, go onto all projects, so just click on all cryptos there. There's 23,000 of them. You need to learn to use the filters. Literally click on the filter and just say, right, I want to look at low cap projects. Come on, filter. There we go. Right, okay, come on. Show me. Show me. There we go. Right. So add filter. There we go. So market cap. I want to look at everything that's sub $2.5 million. I did go through this briefly the other day, but you could even say I want it audited, but I'm not too worried about that. I'll do that myself. So everything here is under $2.5 million. You can also then say platform. I only want to see things that are involved in the Arbitrum ecosystem. Now, you've got to be careful with this because this doesn't mean that they are Arbitrum projects. It means that they are involved and tagged as Arbitrum related. So you can see here, you can do all of this on Arbitrum, but not necessarily Arbitrum only projects. There's one here. Look, it's up 120% in 90 days. It's up 133% in the last 7 days. It's Nutra Finance. I mean, let's go in and have a look at Nutra Finance. Is it an Arbitrum project? Is this music too loud? Because I've tried playing music before and you guys couldn't hear a bloody word I was saying. Let's have a look. So Nutra Finance, yeah, it's an Arbitrum project, so that's good. Market cap's 1.2 million, so we're fairly early on. Have a look at the all-time chart on CMC. Late January, so it's relatively early. It's had the launch climb, it's dipped, and now it's on the way back up. So we know it's got headroom to the upside. But again, it's another finance project. So you could dive into that, and that might get you into a relatively low cap, not especially early. It's a couple of months old, but it's a very young ecosystem. Every new launch sinks. Yeah, absolutely, it does. Why isn't Quant going up with Bitcoin? Because the money's going into Bitcoin, basically. The alts are following because that's where people are taking their profits to and speculating a bit more. But Quant just doesn't move as hard at the same time with Bitcoin. What you'll probably see, and this generally did happen with Bitcoin a lot in the bull run, is when Bitcoin slows down or starts consolidating after a strong run up, that money will then flow into other large caps. So maybe things like Polkadot, Quant, XRP, all those large cap projects, they have a little bit of an injection of capital because people have taken profits on Bitcoin. So generally just Bitcoin pumps, and then generally it's other altcoins after that. But you can see here we've got a bit of a sell-off on the hourly on Quant. But again, it's resetting the stochastic RSI. We're within the channel, so without knowing the support lines in there, I'm looking at this now, we seem to actually have a little bit of support possibly at this level. So hopefully we could reverse that in the next hour. Do I think Arbitrum Pad can get to a penny in the bull run? Arbitrum Pad. Let's go back and have a look at Arbitrum Pad. Ooh. Arbitrum token was listed. I'm going to have a look at that in a sec. Alexa, play Metallica. So Arbitrum Pad is like 2.5 cents. It's got a market cap of 2.5 million. If a successful launch pad, can't have a market cap of 10 million in a bull run, then I don't know what can. 10 million for a launch pad, a good launch pad in a strong ecosystem. I can see that going to a cent. I can see that going to a penny. Yeah, absolutely. Will I buy the Arbitrum token when it's released or wait? I'm going to get airdropped a fair bit of it, and I've got to be honest with you. Like, if you check the Optimism and the Aptos airdrops, especially Aptos, because it was mega hyped, and I think Arbitrum's going to get just as hyped. So if we have a look at the Aptos airdrop from the very beginning on this chart, so let's go to the daily. Check that candle out at launch. It literally spiked at launch at $99, basically the best part of $100. It did go to $100. Of course, only one person got the top of that spike, but at launch, you could have sold for near $100. I got my airdrop, and I sold my airdrop around $12, $13, and it did come back down, and it went a lot lower. And that's a similar pattern with almost every launch, especially the more hyped it is, the more popular it is, the stronger it will be. Aptos was the first project, big project in ages that dropped a token. So it was crazy. We're going to see the same thing, I think, with Arbitrum. Possibly not as strong because the tokenomics are a bit different. But I am expecting strong prices on Arbitrum at launch, a strong dip, and then it will consolidate maybe a week or two later, like Aptos did, and like Optimism did, and then I'll look to possibly buy back in. I'm not going to sell all of my tokens in case it goes crazy afterwards. It could just keep going up, because if you have a look at Optimism, the dump wasn't that bad, and it did go up. You had to wait a few weeks for it, but at launch it went up to $2, over $2. It went all the way down to 40 cents. You could have bought more down there after selling, 5x in your volume, and just playing the accumulation game. And it's there to do. You can do it, but it's a risk. You can't hear any music. Perfect. So it's only for me. Excellent. Do I still have sale restrictions on airdrops? They can do. They can build sale restrictions in. It's like, another good one is the Quorum airdrop. The Quorum airdrop, if you hold Solo or XRP, you're not going to get airdropped core tokens. You're going to get airdropped something called XCore. And that's kind of like an option. So you don't obviously have to buy it because it's free. It's been airdropped to you. But you can only cash it in as a core token if core gets to $10 and it holds it for 10 days. At that point, you will be allowed to sell. So they're giving you something. They're giving Solo and XRP supporters something for holding and supporting core, but it's not going to be core token. It's going to be XCore. And as I said, that's kind of like a sell option. If core ever gets to $10 and holds it for 10 days or more, then you can sell your token. And so they can build that in. They can build that into the smart contract side of the token. It's not that difficult. But that's what core have done. But yeah, in theory, they could build that into a token. They could say, right, we're going to give you all these free tokens, we're going to airdrop them, but you can't sell them until we get to a market cap of 10 billion. They can do that, absolutely. They don't want to lose the liquidity on the project. No, absolutely. And it's a good question, because that is a really good way of protecting your liquidity. You can say, right, we're going to give you all this free shit, but you can't capitalize on it until we've established a sound base and a big liquidity pool, because otherwise you're just going to crash. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. The devil in himself. Do I see much upcoming action with the ISO tokens anytime soon? I've got to be honest, I've been saying it for a while. ISO is a narrative and it will help some projects pump, but it will only be a pump. There'll be very few that have monetary gains as a result of it, because it's not a crypto thing. ISO is a finance thing. And cryptos are certified to be able to help in that use case, but not many of them are actually doing it. So I think some will accrue a little bit of a value. ISO tokens will pump when the switch is flipped. But at the end of the day, there'll be a sell-off. It's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. My personal opinion. But that will run up. I mean, it's supposed to launch Monday. It's supposed to launch on the 20th, isn't it? And I can't see that happening. That's actually a good idea. I'm surprised more tokens don't do it with the airdrops. It is a really good idea. And I think Quorum are showing how strongly they're innovating by doing that. They're saying, look, thank you for your support. You've had some free tokens already. They have had core tokens. Obviously, that's how I got my airdrop of Quorum tokens. I held Sologenic and XRP. I held XRP. I got Solo. I held Solo. I got core. And now what they're saying is, okay, we really want to reward the people that still hold our core token, that got airdropped it or bought it on the open market. But if you hold XRP and Solo, we're still going to reward you, but not as much. And I think that they did exactly the right thing. That, and it's just, as someone else said, it protects liquidity. It protects the project from dumpage. Of course, core holders are going to sell it as well. Of course they are. But you're limiting that damage. Crypto Sugar King, thank you for sharing the live, buddy. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. I think a lot of people will panic sell when they realise the ISO narrative won't do anything. Colin, I completely agree. I think some people are very poorly informed on ISO. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been very excited about ISO in the past, but the more you learn about it, the more you understand it, the more you understand it's just a narrative. Very little adoption of crypto and blockchain is going to come through blockchain and increase any real value. It's a narrative, and one that very few tokens will hold value from. There will be a pump, there will be a dump. Some will retain a little bit of value, but it's not going to be this life-changing system switch change. ISO is not going to be that. The big change is going to be when countries go to CBDCs and what infrastructure they use. But we're already seeing things like, Italy haven't even used XRP, XLM, XDC. They've gone ICP. So it's crazy. And I think that's a really good choice. If you're going to use existing technology, ICP, it's safer, faster, and cheaper than any of the others. And all those transactions can be done on chain. Crazy. New to crypto, currently holding Bitcoin, HTZ, and AVAX, also a very small amount in stacks. All good. I'm not sure what HTZ is, but Bitcoin, of course, is the OG, and obviously you're experiencing a great run up at the moment. AVAX could be very, very good. It was strong in the last bull run. It's got its 3-chain, its XYZ chain solution, very, very technical solution to the trilemma. So there's a trilemma of speed, security, and cost in terms of transactions on a network. And AVAX's way to tackle that was actually to split it into 3 separate chains, which is really clever, but also it's kind of holding them back. So I think it's overly technical. Thoughts on Sui Network? I think Sui Network is going to be just like Aptos, maybe better, but Sui's airdrop is not going to be as good, I don't think. There are over 600,000 people on their Discord, and I believe all 600,000 of them are probably doing the testnet. So when the airdrop happens, I think there will be one. We might not be seeing much come back from that. But yeah, I mean, Sui Network is these airdrops are definitely worth doing. It's 5-10 minutes of your time once a week. 5-10 minutes once a week. That's all we got to do. Aptos, all I did for Aptos is I literally set up one wallet, requested the DevNet tokens, and did an NFT. And I did it once, and I got like $1,200 worth of tokens. It was just stupid. And I wish I'd done it with more wallets. So for Sui, or Sui, or whatever you want to say, I've got several wallets. But I think the airdrop's still going to be very, very small because it's so dilute. But Sui Network's good. ZK Sync is another one you could look into doing. That's another roll-up that probably is airdropping a token at some point. So do follow the guides in the Discord. If you're not already in the Discord, the link's up there in the top right corner. Let's go onto my Discord, and you will see there's channels devoted to free stuff and airdrops. And ZK Sync's one of them that you definitely want to pay attention to, as is Sui Network. We were doing the Arbitrum one, but I think the snapshot's already been done. I don't think they're updating that snapshot. But just like with Optimism, there could be a second or third airdrop. You don't know. So it's always worth at least participating in these networks if you can when they're new. XTZ, okay, that's cool. Not what people want to hear. No, people never want to hear kind of like that they've either been misled or misheard a narrative. If you research ISO, you appreciate it's a financial messaging system. It's not a form of crypto technology. And these projects that are accredited or certified to help projects adhere to that standard, they can, but it won't rely upon them. It's just going to help them achieve that standard. But what is interesting is that I think Quant is going to be a big player in that overledger technology. I think that's going to remain a constant, especially when you consider that actually Gilbert Verdian was part of the ISO 20022 team. Not many people know that, but he was. So Quant's good not just for its overledger technology, but because Gilbert Verdian's got a beast of a contact book, and he was involved with the ISO 20022 setup. Jasmy, I don't like Jasmy. I think Jasmy is purely a pump and dump token. Outwardly, it looks to have great utility, but it is just milked to death. If you look at the chart from the previous bull run on Jasmy, I don't know if I've got it on here. I wouldn't have thought I have. Oh, I have. I've obviously looked at it for someone before. Jasmy, for me, it's just like proper pump and dump coin, proper bull run token. Does nothing outside the bull run. Let's have a look. There you go. So that's a pretty horrendous chart. So that's going back to. Oh, piss off. No, I don't pay for trading because I'm not a trader. So we'll go back here. So October 21, bull run time, down, 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 down. And even if we zoom in, flat as a pancake. We're getting a bit of a run up now because the market's running up and people are looking to speculate on it again. But Jasmy's just a pump and dump. This was all manipulated by large investment groups. I don't touch Jasmy. I don't touch it. I'd love to be wrong, but I know for a fact VCs love that fucking token. Is Bitcoin pulling back now? Let's have a look. I believe it is. We've seen some pullbacks. So let's go on to the 15-minute chart again. And we're still trading within this consolidation range. We've been down here before in the last few hours. I would like to see it bounce back up. And we are getting some green on the 15-minute. So let's go into the 5-minute. So I don't really like living in this time frame, but it's whilst we're all interested in what Bitcoin's doing, it's good to have it. So yeah, we've kind of gone a little bit lower. You can see this is probably our third bounce at this level. So if we take this third bounce here, we've probably just bounced under it. Yeah, we have. So 27k. We're battling to maintain that 27k. If we do bounce up again, hopefully we'll reconsolidate up around 27.3, 27.4 again, and we'll just keep going sideways. But this is what we're testing. We're testing this new line here. Bounced once, bounced twice. This is our third bounce. So this could be weak if we don't bounce up. But again, we've had a good run, and I think we would then maybe look at this level, 26.8, to see if we can form some form of support here. So we might not come down too far. And I still think over the weekends, if we pump all weekend. If we come down all weekend. And if we consolidate all weekend. Now, I think looking at this, we pumped into Friday, and we've seen some volatility, and we'll probably focus down into consolidation. I'm hoping we'll consolidate up around 27.3, and then we'll see what happens when the markets open next week. That's what I would like to see happen, but obviously it's just lines on a page. No one really cares. No one really knows. But that's kind of where I see it at the moment. We've had this massive gain. It's going to pull back at some point. Do I think a lot of people confuse tokens with part of the organization, Ripple as being an example? I think they do. I think we're so used to sort of shares and stocks and things that people think tokens are like owning a part of the company, and they're not. They're really not. It's just something that most of them use to raise liquidity. Most cryptos are software as a service. You could argue that they don't really need a token, but you accept that they're raising capital to fund the project, and you're kind of crowdfunding that using the token, and that's your payback, is the popularity of the token and the project. It is very, very strange, very different. Bit of a shit analogy, to be fair, but it's kind of like that. I knew that difference, but thought they would do better when they have so far. Yeah. Do I think weekends are quiet because investors work on weekdays based on shares? Yes and no. I mean, they'll have order limits placed on. So this is what happens over weekends. I mean, if the market goes very exciting over Friday, you can bet your bottom dollar that a lot of these people have got big sell orders marked in. They'll have sell orders and buy orders and all these kind of things put in place. So, because crypto doesn't sleep, and neither really do crypto traders. But officially, the markets close on a Friday. But the trade is truly 24/7. So as I said, they'll have orders in. The worst case scenario, they'll have orders in, whether they're buy orders or sell orders. I think at the moment, because of the rise of Bitcoin, we're probably looking at a sell wall somewhere. If I knew how to get it up, I would get up the sell order book, but it's not on here. I don't know how to bring it up. I'm not a trader. I just go, because on long term, I just look for the right entry points. I mean, I wouldn't buy into something long term now. I'd hold fire, unless, as I said, it's like one of my small caps in Arbitrum. I think that might be kind of exempt a little bit. Right, so let's go have a look at see how some things are doing. What's doing well this last hour? So the last hour has actually been pretty quiet. If we have a look at the bubble chart, still pretty much red. Everything's pulling back a little bit, but that's in line with kind of like Bitcoin pulling back this last hour. 15 minutes again still red, but in the last 5 minutes we are going green again. So I mean, hopefully, you know, hopefully we are going to see this bounce back up and then reconsolidate at 27.3. We're already back to 727, sorry, 27.2. So, you know, I don't want to tempt fate, but at the end of the day, this is the third bounce now, and if we don't pop up and consolidate, we're probably coming down. So I hope we do. Am I watching the England rugby? Not right now, I'm not, but I don't even know what time it's on, to be fair. What time is the rugby on? I don't even know. I've been so busy with crypto, I just like rugby's a blur. Is XRP worth the investment, or can you name a better investment? It depends on your view. I mean, I hold XRP, I just don't buy it anymore. I think XRP and Ripple have some fantastic partners, and they will do well. They are being severely stifled with this SEC lawsuit because they can't truly trade globally. They can't walk away from America. It's one of the biggest markets in the world. They can't just walk away from it. So they need to settle it. They need to get it done, dusted. And I made the point the other day on a live. It's kind of like, I do have an issue with Brad Garlinghouse and the fact that, yes, he wants regulatory clarity, but would you run your business into the ground for the sake of regulatory clarity? Or would you just say, you know what? Fuck everyone else. I'm going to sort my company out. I'm going to get my shit together. I'm going to get this stuff to market. I'm going to make it work. A true businessman would not behave the way Brad Garlinghouse has. They wouldn't go, oh, but I want clarity for the market. Bollocks, do you? You want the best for your business. If you're a true good businessman, you say, I want to get on with life. I want to trade. This shit's gone on for 2 years already. I'm settling. I'm getting on with life. Fuck regulatory clarity. We've got clarity as to what we can do and can't do. You'll have to sort your own shit out. That's what I would do. That's what a businessman should do. So Brad Garlinghouse kind of gets my goat a little bit. I like Ripple. I like XRP. I love what it can do. I got into crypto because of Ripple XRP. I've got 20 years plus finance experience. I appreciate the use case. But I think Brad Garlinghouse is a bit of a fucking clown because he doesn't take settlement. And I think that's not a businessman. He's probably a tech who's ended up in charge of a company. He's not a businessman. What small caps on Arbitrum do I like? I do like quite a few right now. I'm going to put them in the Discord later on, but I've bought into a few. I'll run through a few again. I've sold some Grail because it's gone up like over 100%. So I've taken some profit on Grail. I've left a small amount in. It's still going up. It's just ridiculous. 46% up today. But yeah, small caps. I'm into AlienFi. I quite like that one. I've locked that in for some staking on some of it. I like Chromatica. That's decent and a fairly low cap. Cyberswap is looking really, really tasty too. Yes, that's up 60% today as well. Get in. Love it. Cyberswap's a really good one. Good looking one, at least, anyway. And I bought into a couple of risky plays I haven't really even researched properly. But damn, that's up 84% today as well. Odin. So the one I bought into this morning was called Odin. It's up 65%. It was up 80%. But damn, yeah, that's making me money. Arbitrum Network's just on fire. But Odin, which is actually called Asgard X, that's complete degen play. I didn't even research that properly. I've got to be honest with you, I didn't. So that's what that one is. If you create a portfolio, what 5 low cap cryptos would be in mine? I've got about. I was trying to consolidate. I had 40. I've now got 45. So I've got so many low caps in my portfolio right now. What would I concentrate on? At the moment, I'm very focused on Arbitrum and Moonbeam. And Polkadot as well. So I think maybe Polkadex, Polkabridge, and a few low caps on Arbitrum. Probably MUX Protocol I really like, although that's not so small anymore. But yeah, I mean, just trying to do really good. Knew that would happen with Grail. It can't run properly as a security. I know, Mark. I know. I'm just saying there's going to be a way that they can carry on business. You wouldn't fuck your business up for 2 years just for the sake of not being a security. Yeah, and he has said he wants to not be classed as a security, but he's also said he wants regulatory clarity. So he just wish to get on with it. It's so frustrating. Is ARB going to be available on Binance? I honestly do not know. But we did see actually that Arbitrum is now listed on CoinMarketCap. So let's see what they've got to say about ARB token. This is people doing IOU. They're already trading the IOU token. So you know what happened with Pi Network? There was an IOU token that was traded. So Arbitrum at the moment is trading at $9.50. If the real Arbitrum token comes out at $9.50, I'm having a month off crypto. Damn, son. That'd be sick. But you can see there, the fully diluted market cap at $9.50 is $95 billion. That's way wrong. That's going to come down a long way. But that'd be nice. That'd be sick. Would it be up to the SEC to offer a settlement? I think either party can offer a settlement, but they need to agree a settlement, don't they? That's the problem. You bought a few ARB2. We'll have to check. Just seen them advertised on KuCoin. They will be the IOU tokens. They're not effectively live. What the exchanges are doing is a bit naughty, actually, because they shouldn't really be listing IOU tokens because the token's not live yet. In effect, they're really buggering up the system. They did the same with Pi Network. They got a hold of some Pi tokens and they started selling them. People got very excited, but they were selling them for stupid money. This is a prime example of exchanges really fucking up projects. IOU tokens shouldn't be a thing. Do I trade on Uphold? No. It's not really what I use. I primarily use KuCoin, MEXC, and if I have to, Gate.io. Have you had your airdrop already then? No. The airdrop isn't happening until next Thursday, the 23rd. So I've got a busy week next week. So the 22nd, we've got Core Apes launching their NFTs. The 23rd, we've got the Arbitrum airdrop, and the 24th, Core Network goes live mainnet. So busy week next week. Was other projects that I'd seen advertised on KuCoin for ARB? Oh, KuCoin have got KuCoin have got like an Arbitrum pool, haven't they? So they've got a specific Arbitrum pool, which is pretty good. I like that idea. I saw that they did that because I quite like their portfolio trading bots, and I think that could be a really interesting thing at the moment. But it involves leaving your money on exchange, which I don't want to do. But yeah, KuCoin offer like portfolio trading bots, and I'm sure that they've got one that is an Arbitrum ecosystem bot, or you could create your own, which is still just as good. Yeah, so yeah, KuCoin and the Arbitrum ecosystem, they've listed a group of tokens. I remember now. A couple of weeks ago they did that, didn't they? I might buy the week after when the hype goes and you sell. Absolutely, JJ. And I think that's the right thing. And we covered this slightly earlier as well. If you look at Optimism and you look at Aptos, come on. So Aptos, here we go. So let's go back and, as I said earlier, let's have a look at the launch of Aptos, which was sickening because day one, Aptos was $100 at launch, and it came all the way down to 30 cents, and obviously then reset. But that was just like ridiculous sell-off. So then it quickly settled. So, I mean, I wouldn't buy a token on launch day. Myself and Mark stayed up for Aptos to buy some more. We ended up overpaying. I mean, if we had held it, we would have been in profit here. But yeah, we would have had to go through this turmoil in between. But it's the same for Optimism as well. Optimism wasn't as big price-wise because there wasn't as much hype around it. So, it didn't have a massive launch price. But you can see here it started off over $2. Came down all the way down to like 40 cents. You could have 5 extra bag if you'd sold up here somewhere, and then you could have made $3 per token after that. So, it's a solid play. And I wouldn't. Some tokens you think you need to buy at launch because the price might never come down. I think pretty much the price always comes down. People will dump their tokens, especially with airdrops. They're going to dump. There's a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. Some people buy, and I don't really know why. But then the token drops, there's a massive sell-off, and you can buy in much cheaper normally. How many Core Apes did you buy, and why did you buy? Core Apes, I bought a few. I have got a couple. I've got more than a couple. But basically, I bought them because they will be giving out validator rewards. So they're going to stake all of those core tokens on a validator node, which means that basically they're participating in the network. They get paid by the network for that participation. And basically, we get a split of the staking rewards. 50% of the staking rewards go back to, 30% of the staking rewards go back to the NFT holders. And we will also be getting 50% of the airdrop tokens that happen as a result as well. So for me, I think as a long term, in terms of holding an NFT forever, the NFT might not be great. It might not be, you might not like it, but it's the utility behind the NFT. It enables you to earn passive income from that node for as long as the node exists. It's a true utility NFT. That's the reason why. In theory, it's passive income forever. And as long as there's a quorum network, that validator node will be chucking out rewards. Might not be worth much in 10 years or 5 years, but it will be chucking out rewards. Oh, hang on, what's going on there? MCB's up. Oh, hang on. Look at that, son. 7.7% up today again. Yippee-yay. Am I still holding AVAX? No. AVAX is one that I liked in the bull run. It had a lot of potential. The only thing that ever made me money on AVAX was Wonderland Time, and that was a Ponzi. I just got lucky that I was in at the beginning, well, near the beginning, and I got out well before the end. Because as soon as that stuff drops in price, you're on a slippery slope. Time Wonderland was a Ponzi. It was the definition of a Ponzi. And yet people still bought in towards the end and wondered why they lost money. I mean, everything in crypto, the earlier you can get in, the better. How do we find or filter Arbitrum small cap gems? The best way I can do it, the best way I can think of describing it, it's pretty easy, but there's still a science behind it. I go onto CoinMarketCap, I select all of the cryptos, I put a filter on when it lets me. So I just add a filter and I say, right, market cap, no more than, okay, let's not say 2.5 million, there weren't that many. Let's say no more than 5 million. That leaves generally a lot of growth for anything. Then you say just play platform and you find Arbitrum. And this will give you every project that interacts with Arbitrum. It won't necessarily be an Arbitrum project, but you can find them in here. It literally lists them in market cap order. So if you wanted to, you could turn this on its head. So there you go. So now you've got the smallest ones first. So there's all your low cap projects that interact with Arbitrum. The smallest one that's a true Arbitrum project is Nutra Finance, but I haven't had a chance to dive into that yet. It is up a lot in the last week, as is all Arbitrum. I don't know what the long-term potential of that is. But you can see here, I generally look at the last 7-day chart and think if that's strong, then I'm interested. But at the moment, with Arbitrum, most of them are strong. And with a lot of projects, it's strong for the last week. Oreo Swap, there's some decent figures in there. I might stop and have a look at that one, see if that's an Arbitrum one. There's that Asgard X I said that I bought into as well. You can see the spike on that today. It was down before, so it's a fairly new project. It's had a dump, and it's up 90% in this last week. So I've now bought in. I haven't put a lot in because it's high risk. It's a tiny market cap. But if it gets to $7 million, it's a 10x. It's risk reward. I mean, low caps do that. So yeah, that's what I do. I'll just scan through. I'll find things that are statistically interesting, and I'll have a look. It's like this one, self-reporting supply. That's why these are in grey, not white. So you'll see here that there's some in white and there's some in grey. The grey ones are self-reporting, so it's like you have to take a pinch of salt with this. But at the end of the day, if I was looking at these charts and I was like, right, okay, I want a nice low cap. This one's been a nice steady climb, nice pattern up and down. Let's have a look at DBL. And then you go to DBL and you just check it out. And if you specifically wanted something to build on Arbitrum, you'd make sure that this says Arbitrum. The contract is an Arbitrum contract. It's self-reporting supply, 600,000 market cap, 3 million fully diluted. The overall supply is 100 million, so the tokenomics are okay, but obviously it's only 20% supply, but it's quite new. Take a breath. All-time chart, very, very volatile, as you can see here. Yeah, but it has, this was an early adopter in Arbitrum. This has been an ecosystem for a while, and it's not died. It has had spikes. So you really need to do your background check on it. But a guild of mythologists with the aim to research, curate, and curate a pipeline of products. So yeah, it's kind of like a think tank. So that wouldn't be for me. I think think tanks are a good thing, but they don't need a token. Bollocks to that. But yeah, that's kind of how I do it. Would you say you are up now in crypto, as I am not? I've got to be honest with you. This year has been very kind. At one point I was down over 60%. My portfolio, what was left in my portfolio, was down over 60%. My portfolio is now, with all the kind of good investments that I've made in some low caps and some good returns on the higher caps, I am back in a position of being 10% down. So I've recovered a lot of money in this period, and prior to that as well. I've done some investments in some good smaller cap projects, and it's paying me back. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the bear market's finished with this. I think that this is a bullish run within a bear market. I don't think this is a full-blown bull run. This is because obviously money's being pumped into the economies and we're getting Hong Kong regulated. I think we'll soon retrace back into the the economy's fucked status. But yeah, at the moment I'm 10% down on my holdings, and I'll take that compared to being 60% down for sure. I mean, if you've done nothing but hold what you held before, you'd probably still be down massively. Although most of my money is tied up in my big caps, or it was. I've been playing around with everything else, and I've been trying to pick smaller cap projects that offer better returns, and that is working. But more than anything else, when I do that, I am taking profit when it's there. So like I said, things like with XTP, the TAP token, things like Daffy, I took my initial out as soon as I could and left a little bit of profit in, and I've taken that out as well. My small caps that I did, like in the AI run and things like that, I had two X's, 3 X's. Again, pulled my initial investment out and a little bit of profit, left what was in there. The only one that I'm really still holding out of that is Arai Chain and Chromatica, because I like them long term. But again, even with those, I've pulled out my initial investment. I'm riding profit. Such an important lesson, just to learn to take profit. It's really difficult, but you're here to make money. And you might like a project, but you don't need to keep it forever. Prices go up and they come down, and if you're taking profit, you don't lose. So my portfolio has turned around quite strongly, but it's also quite a different mix. I mean, like I said, I'm not buying XRP anymore. What exchanges am I using? So primarily when I have to use an exchange, I'm using KuCoin, MEXC, or Gate.io very rarely. Primarily, I'm using KuCoin for day-to-day kind of like buying Moonbeam and stuff like that. I'll use MEXC for the low cap things that I'm into. So I like CoalNet. I'm buying CoalNet on there. I think OpenOcean, I'm buying on MEXC as well. Purely just because it's easy to get money on and off. I quite like it. So KuCoin, MEXC, Gate.io. I hold a lot of stuff in hot wallets because I stake. But yeah, I've also got the Ledger Nano. So that's very rarely used, to be honest. What's a good off-ramp exchange? I still use Crypto.com to off-ramp. I still use Crypto.com. Although, to be fair, I've taken profits, but I haven't cashed out. Those profits get cashed into stable coins, which I then use to buy into other projects when I'm ready to do so. I haven't taken money out of the market for a while, since I had to buy a carpet. That crypto paid for the carpet, so that was all right. KuCoin's your favorite much? I don't use Binance. And Binance is worrying me right now as well. If you look at Binance, we've had stories about CZ selling assets, and now we're seeing him not register with the SEC for staking and staking and futures. And we're seeing him not register with the FCA in the UK for the same thing. He doesn't want to register. He doesn't want to license himself at all. So he's not only is he not licensing with two of the biggest economies in the world, he is withdrawing services and he's selling assets. So when companies do that, they're winding down. So is Binance winding down? What is Binance going to be when it can't do futures trading and staking anymore? Where's it going to trade? How's it going to trade? Binance worries me. What does off-ramping mean? It's a very good question. Some people don't know how to get their money back out of crypto. They really don't. But yeah, off-ramping's a thing. Yeah, not only do you take your profit into stablecoin, you take your money out of crypto sometimes. It's amazing. You can do it. Yeah, I mean, I said, just when it comes to low caps, just be very careful. Either appreciate you're taking a very, very risky punt if you're not going to research, or do a lot of research and think, yeah, that's exciting, that's different, that's got a future. Or it's in an ecosystem that needs it. If it's not doing something world changing, but it's in a new ecosystem and it's one of the few that are doing it, then maybe it's worth a go. Do I think people forget they got to pay tax when they see money on the device? It's not when they see money on the device as such. It's when they transact into a profit, or when they transact a profit. So for us in the UK, it's basically if we were to have, say, profit on Bitcoin, and we were to convert that into USDC or sell it, that is that's a taxable event. So the moment we transact that Bitcoin, that profit becomes taxable. So that for us would be the taxable event. You can make money. Your portfolio, certainly in terms of what I understand in terms of taxation in the UK, you can have a portfolio. You could put 10k into crypto, and you could make another 90k. So you could have 100k sat there. But if you don't transact it, then the tax doesn't become payable. And this is the thing where there's new crypto rules coming in, whereby if you leave profits alone for 2 years or 3 years, you get like a tiered tax system. I don't think that's the UK, actually. There might be somewhere else, but I think it's a really good system. So in theory, you should be thinking, I need to keep some of this aside to pay tax if I sell or if I transact, because you'll have to pay the tax man. The blockchain's transparent. You're not going to get away with it. But if it's just sat there doing nothing, it's not a taxable event, as far as I'm aware. Never done it in 2 years. To be fair, you joined relatively the same time as me, Huds. We've been in crypto for a couple of years, and we joined basically at the beginning of a bull run, or into a bull run. So we've never really, we've always bought in high, buy high, sell low. Doesn't make sense, so we're still holding. Joe Menz, thank you for smashing the likes, buddy. I appreciate that. I am going to be winding up soon, actually. How long have I been on for? I've been on for an hour and a quarter, so that's not a bad session. I'm going to take a break in a bit, maybe film a tiki-toki, but then maybe come back on later on. We'll see. But yeah, every transaction equals tax, but except the buy one. If you buy outright something brand new, you're not exchanging. That's not a taxable event because obviously you haven't made any money yet. But yeah, if you transact a token that's in profit, whether it's to exchange for another token, swap it for a stable coin, or cash out completely, that is a taxable event. Every single one of them. Mr. Unknown, you're absolutely right. Right then, folks, I'm going to wind it up there. So if you're here and you're not following me already on here, what the hell are you doing? Hit that follow button. Also, please do join the Discord. It's completely free. The link's up in the top right corner. You enter my Slink app and you join the Discord. There is no paid section. All help, advice, and everything is free. And for anyone who's here who was in the Core Apes Discord, I have added the tip bot. So if anyone in there helps you with a query, let's say you've got a problem getting your XRP on or off the ledger, someone helps you, and you want to say thank you, you can send them an XRP. You can tip them. Thank you very much. Don't have to, but it's there if you want to. It's in another Discord that I was in recently, and I think it was a great idea. Supporting each other, saying thank you. Just doesn't have to be a lot. It's a token gesture. Thank you. So if anyone likes doing that, the tip bot's in there. It's not a requirement, but I've made it available. Every transaction equals tax, and that's the bit that breaks your heart. Later. Absolutely, Mr. Unknown. Right, it's been a pleasure, everyone. I will catch you all very, very soon. I hope to speak to you all in the Discord. Catch you soon.